Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to make another not too shabby card using their Hello July quarterly release, specifically the stamp set, this one piece of paper from the pad, and then the sage ink. This is the Stars Hydrangeas 6x6 paper pad, and we're going to make a negative positive card. So first off, I am going to cut down my paper here. I'm going to cut it to about 4 and I think like 5 1/4 here. Now, this isn't going to be my final cutting of this paper because I am going to be cutting a portion of it out, but I'm not exactly sure how big of a portion I want to cut out yet because I'm kind of doing this on the fly here. So we're just going to cut down some white cardstock to 3 by 4 here, and we are going to make some pattern paper using the stamp set from the Not Too Shabby shop here. So I'm going to bring in some black ink, and I'm bringing in my stamping tool here, and I'm going to kind of get some tape on the back of this paper because I want it to be in the middle and I want my stamps to be able to go off the edges. I can't use my magnets for it, so I'm going to put some tape behind that. Just some temporary tape here. And then I'm going to start setting up my stamp tool. Now, I am going to mark where my paper is just in case it does come off of my stamping platform here. That has happened to me before where it clings to the stamp. So we're just going to make sure there is at least one line here so that I know where my paper is supposed to line up, and then we will get our stamp out. So I am using this big hydrangea stamp here, and I'm starting near kind of the left-hand side. I want to start with almost a full stamping of this particular image. Now, I am prepping my stamp just by rubbing on it with my hand. And I'm going to use my Mento black ink to stamp. This ink is alcohol friendly and water friendly, but we're not going to be doing any of that today because I'm going for that negative positive look. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2 layers of stamping for each time I press down. I'm just bringing in my little hockey puck here because that's what it looks like to me. This just helps me to get more even stamping, and I am bringing that up a little bit and noticing that it's not getting all pressed down, and that's more of my stamping platform than anything. But you see how for the majority we are getting about 90% of this stamp. Now, usually when I make pattern paper, sometimes I like to start like right in the middle and just get one full piece of the flowers. This one I decided to start a little bit more towards that left, but I still am starting with almost the entire stamp to start with. And then I will go ahead, I will clean off my stamp here, and then I will shift it and turn it and all the things to continue making this. So we are just going to kind of turn it a little bit, line it up again, and stamp again. Now, you could use a piece of acetate or packaging, clear packaging, when you first move your stamp, and then you don't have to clean your stamp in between each little shot. But I didn't have any on me, and I don't think I was honestly remembering that I could do that. And so I just actually clean off my stamp in between each movement. And I do get a little bit of ink, I remember at one point, but it ends up working out because you end up not seeing it later. But yeah, I'm pressing down pretty much twice for each one. And then I'm cleaning off my stamp in between each movement here. Now, I am cleaning off my edges on my stamping tool as well. That's just because I had it out there. You could wait until you're completely done with it. It's not that big a deal. But I just wanted to make sure that I get the same impression for each stamp, because I don't want it to be like here's one and then here's the ghost image. I want them to all be the same. Now this time I'm going to focus on getting more of those leaves in there, just to make the pattern paper a little bit more interesting. And if you see really close up, you can see a little bit of ink did already get on my paper. But like I said, it's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. You could always use a white gel pen and color over those black little specks, or that can always be where you put something else, like a gem or your sentiment or something like that, if it is something that you messed up. Or, you know, depending on how you're cutting it, you could always cut it down and maybe you don't even see that. So I'm going to go ahead and move this at least 2 more times, one for that upper left-hand corner and a little bit for that bottom right-hand corner, or left-hand corner. There you go. Again, I'm kind of bringing in a little bit more of the leaves just because I want this to really connect, almost like it's a puzzle piece. So you kind of see how the leaf is going in between the other leaf and the stem, just to kind of give that same flow and a little bit of the same distance of negative space in between each little bouquet of hydrangeas. I will finish off cleaning my stamp here, and then I will use my last space up there. Now with this cleaning, I did need to bring in my spray because I had some residue from the actual stamping pad. This is a well-loved stamping pad, and sometimes it tends to shed, and so I wanted to really make sure that I got that clean before I moved my stamping tool. Again, I'm focusing on those leaves a little bit and making sure everything fits like a puzzle. I really like how the round kind of valleys and slopes kind of connect here. We'll go ahead and press down with that black Memento ink again. Make sure it gives a good impression, and then we'll continue on. We're going to do it a second time and press one more time, and that will be the ending of us making the pattern paper. Now, if you haven't ordered your quarter release yet, I will put it down in the description box below if it is still available. If it's not, there's pieces that are still available. I'll put that down below. I am going to add a little bee in that negative space there. He's just going to be my fun little focal point there. I love how it came out. I was thinking about putting a couple of them in there, but it just wasn't quite fitting how I wanted it to go, but it ended up working out great. Just having the one, because he's going to kind of lead you to our sentiment later on. So now I'm just kind of getting a measurement of how much of the pattern paper I want to show. I do want to kind of overlap the pieces so that I can glue them together and have it not bend too much. But I want them to overlap because I'm going to use foam tape on the pattern paper to create depth with this card. So then I'm going to bring out my cutting tool, trimming tool, whatever we call this. And I'm just cutting off where I had put those pencil marks. I think it's like 1 1/4 and like 3 5/8 or something like that. Something along those lines. Strike that, it was 3 3/8. But they're not exact measurements because it just kind of depends on how much of the pattern paper that you created you want to see. I wanted to see a majority of mine, so I cut mine accordingly. Now this is a normal A2 size card, but I wanted my card to have a little bit of a white border from the card base, which is why I cut it down a little bit. And now I'm just going to add in some foam tape onto the strips that are going to be on the card. Like I said, I want to create some depth, almost like you're looking in to see the black and white pattern paper. Now, this is my third video using this quarterly release. If you haven't seen those other videos, please check them out. They will be down in the description box below and or tagged up in the upper right hand corner. And then there will be another card that I created off camera that will also be on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me there, it's the same handle, just Atlas Dep. It's at LESDEP. And I tend to put up all my cards there, whether they have videos on YouTube or not. So if you want some extra inspiration, definitely check them out. Okay, so now I'm just lining up where I'm going to have my black and white paper to make sure that it has that even border all around. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue to glue that down. I want to make sure that everything has that even white border. Is why I kind of keep placing and measuring and replacing and measuring and replacing and measuring it. Because like I said, I don't have exact measurements for this. This just kind of came to me as something that I really wanted to try. And so you're seeing my creative process kind of live here. This is what I do. If I'm following a sketch, it's a little bit easier because then I have all the measurements. But if I'm coming up with something myself, I tend not to have measurements. So, but this gives you an idea of how to kind of play with your stamp set in a different way. Now, I am putting liquid glue on that foam tape, and that's just to give me a little bit of wiggle room as I line everything up, just in case it doesn't get on there perfectly straight. If you watched any of my other videos before, you know, sometimes I have a little bit of a struggle with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel off the rest of that release paper from the bottom portion, add a little bit more liquid glue on all three of those strips, and then go ahead and place that bottom piece as well. I really love how this card turns out, and I have a feeling I'm going to be making several more like this, just with different stamp sets and different papers in the future, just because of how much I enjoyed how this one came out. And this card could easily be a birthday card, a special occasion card. I'm just making it a simple hello card. I am using the color Sage with Simon Says Stamps Positively Saturated ink, just because that was the color that I felt matched the leaves in the colored pattern paper the best. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut that little hello out. There isn't any coordinating dies with these, so, you know, get your fussy cut on. I suggest a pair of scissors like these. They're nicer on my hands for sure, that tend to cramp with the other ones. And I feel like I just have a little bit more control over these kinds of scissors. So I'm just trying to make sure there is the same amount of white space around the entire word. And then honestly, I just kind of wiggle my scissors to kind of create like the bumps that you see with the die, like coordinating dies for sentiments. That's how I fussy cut. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. So I am going to bump up this little tiny sentiment with a little bit of foam tape as well. I want it to be kind of a little bit lower than the other pattern paper that is bumped up, but I wanted it to have a little bit more depth just so that it was able to be seen well on top of that hydrangea there. And then we're going to go ahead and bring in the coordinating enamel dots from the set. And then we're just going to bring in some of that off-white little sparkle enamel dots. We are going to add 3 little dots to the bottom right hand corner of that sentiment, and then 1 dot in the left hand side right underneath the B. I did kind of play along with do I want more than that or less than that. You can kind of see me moving my tool around here just to kind of see if I wanted more or less, but that just ended up being the perfect amount. So sometimes I have odd numbers, sometimes I have even numbers. It just depends on what actually looks right to my eye when I'm making the card. So that is my final card. Like I said, if you haven't checked out the quarterly release, all the information will be down in the description box below. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss out on any of my other videos. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you and have a great day.